Hey everybody, I wanted to make this video to give you a better visual representation of how to apply the fix to your IS300 sunroof motor. Basically what I want to do is I just want to show you what you need to take apart and what you need to clean in order to get your sunroof working again. So this is the motor, and this is the way you will view it when it's in your car. And on the back side or on the top, you have 5 tabs holding it in place. And what you need to do is use your fingernail, or you can use a flathead screwdriver to take it apart. See, I don't have very long fingernails, but I'm able to take it apart fairly easily. Sometimes you may need just a small flathead screwdriver, or even a regular size one would work quite well. There you go. Once you get that off, you can see the internals. If you've tested the motor itself, and you apply power and ground to this, which is labeled on the board itself, you'll be able to tell. But if you've applied power to this and the motor does not spin, then you'll probably want to open it up and try to clean it. This Phillips screw, I'll show you that now. These two. And if you're taking this apart for the first time, you may need to use vice grips, because sometimes it can be under very tight, because these are locking screws. And on the back side of these, you have a small nut that holds the screw onto the cap onto the housing. So you want to make sure you don't lose those, or work with this somewhere where you're not going to lose those. Get the last one here. Alright, we got all 3 over here. Move those to the side. And once we do, we'll be able to pull this cap off here. And as you can see, it comes off with the shaft. So this shaft right here is held into place by this cover. And there are 2 magnets on the inside of this cover. You can just pull it right on out. If you can see down in there, but yeah, there you go. You can see the two magnets that hold it into place. So basically, once you pull it out, what you need to clean are the copper contacts right here. Take some steel wool to that, and more than likely it's going to be black. It's going to have carbon gunk all over it. You're going to take some steel wool to it, clean it up nice, and you want to apply some rubbing alcohol to it, get rid of all that carbon deposit. And then once you do, instead of putting this motor shaft into this housing, take this shaft and put it down into the assembly first. So what you would want to do is take your assembly, and you can either back these springs off first, or you can fit it down in there without taking the springs off. If you did, you would just press in and up, let the springs come out. But I'm going to show you, I'll show you the spring method way. Press in and up, get the spring off. Now you can move both of these carbon contactors back. Take your shaft, and you want to put the shaft down into this assembly, and making sure you're not touching this greasy shaft part onto the carbon contactors. Otherwise, you're going to have to clean it again. So fit it down in there. Kind of press down, move it around a little bit, make sure it fits. And then once you do that, you put the springs back on. And then next, you want to kind of grab your hand around the assembly and pinch this part of the shaft, this motor shaft. Take your cover, make sure before you put it on correctly. So these 2 prongs right here go towards these 2 prongs right here. So as long as it says icing right here, or if yours says something differently, just make sure that the screw holes are lined up. Pinch with your thumbs on this part of the shaft here, and grip with your palm. So you want to grab it and grip it like that. Put the cover over, make sure it lines up. See, I still have it pinched, and this wants to pull down because of the magnets on the inside. It wants to pull down onto the shaft. So what I'm going to do is slowly let it down, and it fits perfectly. Another easy method. Instead of placing the shaft inside of this housing first, try fitting the shaft into the assembly. So what you would do is take the shaft and put it down into the assembly. Try not to get any of the greasy parts of the shaft to touch the contactors here. Make sure you want those to be clean. Down into the assembly, and it's going to get stopped by these carbon contactors here. So once you get to that point, you can take a flathead screwdriver, kind of put your finger on one edge there, and push one of the carbon contactors back. Then you kind of want to rock the shaft to the side that you pushed back. Then you take your screwdriver and press the other carbon contactor to the push it back to the right, and you should be able to rock it right into place. And if it doesn't feel like it's fitting down all the way, just rotate it just a little bit. Make sure you don't get any grease on here. And then put your housing back onto the shaft. Now when you do this, the magnets are in here are going to pull this shaft back out a little bit. But as long as you hold it, get it in place, you should be able to get it down without it pulling out. But as you can see here, well, there you go. I got it into place. And then next you just want to put your bolts back on and screw it back in place. And if all went well, then hopefully you will end up with something like this. What a lovely day to have your sunroof to be working again. Tilt. Lay it down. And that's it. That's how you fix it.